I really just sat down without any of the books. I took a picture of them and then I put them all back on my shelves. Okay, I will go get them. You all watch the intro. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Hi, if you're new, my name is Tori, and I read 5 books in March, which I'm pretty excited about because I haven't read 5 books in 1 month in a long time. I had some pretty good reads. I had one not so great read, which I gave 2 stars. We'll talk about it, obviously. And then one which just completely blew me away. I'm sure a few of you already know which one I'm talking about. I loved this book so much. I cannot wait to share it with you guys and just talk about my thoughts on it because it truly was a gem in the month of March. I think it came out in February, so guys, it was pretty good. I'm sorry, you're going to be seeing this sweater quite a few times because I didn't realize that it's in my vlog video and I'm editing that. Okay, anyways, let's go ahead and get started. So the first book that I have here is My Sister the Serial Killer by Oyèkán Braithwaite. I'm sure you all have been seeing this around. Guys, I loved this book. I didn't even expect to enjoy it as much as I did because I had already been hearing that it wasn't that great or that it could have been, people were just hoping for more from it, and I totally understand that, but just from what we get in these small pages, oh my gosh, it was quite the ride. So we have 2 sisters. The main character who's telling the story is Cordy, and then her sister is Ayoola. From what we know, Ayoola is she's gorgeous. She gets all the guys. She's just been in all these relationships. And the main character, she's really quiet and just kind of reserved, but she's there for her sister. She's really loyal to her sister and her family. But what is kind of lurking in the corner of the whole story is that her sister is a serial killer. Her sister has killed her last 3 boyfriends. It feels like such a subtle thing almost, and that is what I love about this book. That's it's kind of just almost, my sister, she knits, and my sister bakes. Oh, my sister, she kills men. That's kind of the tone that I'm getting from this. It's not this, oh my God kind of thing. It's that Ayoola, she kills men, and then Cordy comes to the rescue and she helps clean up. And I think that the tone of it and how it's just kind of this quiet theme throughout the story, it's just lurking at every corner. I think that's brilliant. But things kind of take a turn for the dramatic when the doctor who works in her hospital meets her sister and could potentially become her next victim. So that's kind of in the back of Cordy's mind the entire time. Cordy, she finds kind of solace in one of the patients who's been unconscious. And I think that in itself was also just brilliant. She's not heard within her own family, and she has to go to someone who's experienced this tragic accident, who can't even speak to her, who she finds comfort in. So there's just so much going on here, and I appreciate it, just the experience of reading this book. It works too. The structure is really great because instead of just this one long and continuous novel, we're getting actually snippets. So the book is broken into different segments happening in the girls' lives that flashes back a couple of times to when they were kids. And it was just, it's incredible. It's incredible. It's really deep and kind of dark look at family loyalty and, sisterly bonds and that kind of thing. And just kind of beneath it all, you have Ayoola has this kind of subtle flair for murder. I don't know. It works really well that's not the in-your-face portion of the book. I really enjoyed reading this. I'm happy that I read this. And I ended up giving this book a 4 out of 5 stars. The next book that I read in March was In a Dark, Dark Wood by Ruth Ware. This is my final Ruth Ware book. I've read all of her books now. It started with The Death of Mrs. Westaway, and it has ended with her first novel. Ruth Ware. I just want to make a video about the problem with Ruth Ware's books. Her books always start off fantastic. Her premise is always great. You're just hooked from the first few chapters, even the first few pages. You're just yes, this is going to be an adventure. And then somewhere around the middle, just famously, her novels, I feel, tend to start falling apart. And now I see where it all started. It all started from the first book. I would actually rank this a little bit higher than... Actually, no, I wouldn't. Never mind. I was going to say I will rank this higher than The Woman in Cabin 10. No, I don't. So we have this woman, Nora, who is a writer. She's a crime writer. And she hasn't spoken to her best friend, Claire, in like 10 years. And just kind of out of the blue, she sits down to do some writing one day. And she gets an email, not from her friend Claire, not from Claire, from Claire's new best friend, who I forgot her name already. That's terrible. It's not important. Nora gets an email from Claire's new best friend saying that Claire is getting married and she's having a hen party, which I'm not British, so I was like, what? So it's a bachelorette party. That's technically what it is. Nora gets word of this hen party that's happening, and she reaches out to a mutual friend of her and Claire's and is like, oh, are you going to this? And so basically you get like 5 people in the woods for a weekend for Claire's bachelorette party. Okay, this is hard to talk about because there's some secrets around I'll put it like this. There are secrets around the man that Claire is marrying. The issue that I had with this book is the main character herself. Just things, and obviously, okay, it's fiction. You can suspend. I'm pretty good at suspending disbelief. I can handle it. I can go along with it for a certain point. But this character, she just does things that just don't make sense. Like, why? She's a runner. She runs to relieve stress sometimes, and going back to be with her friend Claire in this isolated cabin in the woods. It's kind of an anxious experience because you haven't seen this girl in a long time. You don't even really know why you're there because you all haven't spoken in 10 years. So it's a lot for the main character, and I understand that. But this girl, she does some crazy things. She goes running in the middle of the night. There's no light outside. It's snowing. Oh my God, it's just a lot wrong with this. And then also she just puts herself in the most ridiculous situations. She allows herself to be humiliated by people at the bachelorette party. I'm like, you don't know these people. You don't owe them anything. Oh my God, like, why are you there? So the little problems like that, just kind of kept surfacing in the back of my mind. I'm like, oh my God, just leave. But if you leave, there won't be a book, so I get it. The book is actually flashing between the events of the hen party and then the events in present day, which is only like 2 days, or a day or two after the hen party, and the main character is in the hospital. So both of the stories and both of the periods are kind of catching up to each other. So you have her in the hospital with really no recollection of what happened at the hen party after a certain point. And then, of course, you have like the hen party and the events unfolding until they both finally come together. There are a few problems that I had with the present day when she's in the hospital because it's actually kind of infuriating. There's only so long that I feel like I can be strung along for a mystery plot without some answers just every single time. Because after a while, the present day scenes just feel pointless if you're not going to say anything. So they just really felt plopped down for dramatic effect because nothing in the present day scenes was happening. And I guess it served to build like dramatic suspense, but I was really just getting angry because Nora's memory is gone and she's like, oh my God, I wish I could remember what happened, or oh my God, like someone's hurt. I can't remember anything. And I mean, we get this for pages and I'm like, girl, I get it. You can't remember anything. Like, if you can't remember anything, take me back to the hen party. Maybe you'll remember then. However, I've just always been a huge fan of Ruth Ware's ability to create setting. I love the setting in the woods and the cabin and these kind of tense friendships, even if they were a little far-fetched at times. I think that was done kind of expertly. Props for setting, props for tension. So overall, I mean, yes, I did enjoy this. I took off some stars just for believability issues, which is kind of weird to say in a work of fiction, but I mean, come on. It's a lot happening that didn't need to be happening in this. I thought it was just entertaining, so I'll give it that. I gave this a 3 out of 5 stars. Ooh, okay. Next, I read Contagion by Erin Bowman. I guess I'm just being surprised by the things that I'm picking up because I did not expect to like this as much as I did. I mean, I think I liked it more when it was finished and I was like, wow, that was kind of crazy. We have this crew in space. They're a research crew and they're doing work that that the government has hired them to do. They're not like explorers or anything. They're just plain researchers. And they're basically reporting back to the government that controls different areas of space. One day, and so, just on a normal research day, they get this SOS call from a ship that is like so far away from them. It's like 2 months away. The people who oversee them, they're like, yeah, go investigate what's going on with this SOS and this other crew. They land on this planet, this barren, isolated, just wasteland of a planet. And when they get there, the entire research team is, the entire crew that's on that planet, totally dead. And the longer they stay there to investigate, the more they realize that things are getting a little weird. This was quite stressful, this book. It's a little, I wouldn't classify it as just like straight up horror. It does have horror, I should be careful with that word, horror aspects of it, but it's not like an outright, I don't think, a horror novel. So, and the book is told through the crew members' different perspectives, but it's all still in third person. But the main one, you get the sense that like the main person is this intern named Thea. And so we get her perspective kind of the most out of everybody, and the center focus of the story always seems to come back to her. It was a little tense in a lot of scenes, and I wasn't prepared for that. I'm not going to spoil anything, but there was this one scene in particular. This is at the point where I'm thinking, like, I don't care about any of these characters. The story is just kind of dragging. I'm not sure I don't feel anything for this book at all. And so at that point, when I started to feel like that, something happened, and I literally closed the book and I was like, oh shoot, like, is this real? So, I mean, I guess I did care about the characters and I didn't even realize it. This was quite a lot of fun to read. I enjoyed this. I enjoyed it more towards the end just because you like kind of think back on everything that's happened, and this whole crew is just in this mess of a situation and of like political secrets going on. It's a lot happening, you guys. So I think this is actually, I think, going to be, the second book is coming out in July, but I don't know if it's going to be a duology or a trilogy, but it's definitely about to be something. I enjoyed this. I gave it 3.5 stars. Next, we have my 2-star read of the month, which I wasn't happy with at all. Hence the 2 stars. And that was Cry Absolution by Erin Waite. This book, I just had such high expectations for it, and I found it completely on a whim. I didn't know it existed. I bought it from Half Price Books, and I was like, is that Far Cry? And so this book kind of serves as a prequel to the Far Cry 5 game. Just a little backstory very, very quickly. Far Cry 5 focuses on this religious cult in the fictional town of Hope County, Montana, and they control different aspects of the town. A lot of the cult leaders have different regions that they oversee in the town. So this book serves as a prequel to that. So we're focusing on one of the characters in the town named Mary May, who owns one of the bars, and her brother was taken by the cult in this book. And then we have this hunter, William Boyd, who he also has his ties somehow with the cult. And the cult is called Eden's Gate. I should have said that. So he also has his ties with the cult. And slowly his story and Mary's story start intertwining, and I mean, that's pretty much it. So the problem with this book, oh my god, it's boring. It was just so boring. I don't know how you can take a game and a premise like Far Cry 5 and make a boring prequel out of it. It's just, we get so much about, okay, and granted, Far Cry is open world, like there's just exploration going on in every corner. So you kind of get that sense that, you're getting this sweeping description of the landscape, and just, oh gosh, it did not work very well in book form. I'll tell you that. It was great getting to know more about Mary May, who was one of my favorite characters in the game. That's really all I can say about this book. I thought it was boring. That's really it. I gave it 2 out of 5 stars. And then finally, guys, this is the moment you've all been waiting for. I feel like wherever you are, you should start doing drum roll, because this is pretty big stuff. This is actually the first book. Yes, the first book that I read in March. And it was fantastic. It was fantastic. That hurt. Oh my god. Daisy Jones and the freaking Six. That's not the name of the book. Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Oh my goodness. I have been singing the praises of this book since like page 5. I loved it so much. We have this girl, Daisy Jones, growing up in the 70s in Los Angeles. And she's trying to make a name for herself in the music industry. I'm getting so excited talking about this book. She's trying to make a name for herself. And then we have this band on the East Coast who they're doing a little bit of things here and there, just trying to make a name for themselves. And they're getting some notoriety, but nothing too huge, okay? So this band, they move out to the West Coast. They move out to LA and they start playing a little bit more. And then one day, the band and Daisy Jones, I mean, I'm just skipping over a lot of stuff just to get to like the heart of the book. One day, Daisy Jones and this band, they're put together. And I'm going to quote the book because I honestly get chills every time I read this line. When they come together, it says, "What happens next will become the stuff of legend." Like, I get chills. I just got goosebumps like right now when I said that. This book basically is documenting the Sixes, the Daisy Jones and the Six, their rise to fame, and then the night basically that everything all came crashing down in 1979. Oh, gosh. First of all, it's told completely through interviews. You know, members of the band, Daisy herself, producers at their record label, a woman who has written a biography on Daisy Jones. They're all giving their account of the 70s and rock and roll and this band's rise to fame and how gritty it was. And oh my God. And then, oh my God, I'm just completely forgetting the male lead in the Sixth, Billy. Their relationship is just, it's so good. It's so good. Okay. I need to focus. is this a review? I don't know. I don't know. I just loved everything about this book. I really, really did. Truly. There's this section, you know, you already know that their famous album is Aurora. And so you get this entire section of how Aurora came to be and the songwriting process and just the tensions that are rising, not only within the band, but with Billy and Daisy. And, you know, I didn't grow up in that era, but I'm reading this and I'm thinking to myself the whole time, the descriptions are so vivid and the atmosphere of that period, I think, is captured so well. I'm reading this and the whole time I'm thinking, yes, Taylor, this is rock and roll in the 70s. I get it. I feel it. Man, she did a great job. These songs, they feel like real songs. These people feel like real people. And the essence of rock and roll in that period is something that I've never seen before and done this well. I'll put it like that. I just give all the props to this book. I truly enjoyed every single second that I was reading it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. This is just a fangirl video of Daisy Jones and the Six, basically. So I hope you enjoyed. I guess it's no surprise. I gave this book a 5 out of 5 stars, you guys. I had a pretty good reading month. I think any month you read Daisy Jones is a good month. So yes, that was March for me. I hope you guys had a great month last month. And let me know down in the comments what your favorite book of last month was. So I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.